They say some places don't forget. They wait, silent, patient, feeding on the things people try to bury. For the small town of Hollow Creek, that place was the Restwell Motel, a decaying building tucked behind the trees, with a sign outside still blinked vacancy through the fog, even though no one ever seemed to stay long enough to leave a review. On a storm-soaked night, a man named Daniel Gray found himself there. He hadn't planned to stop, hadn't planned much of anything lately. He just drove, headlights cutting through rain, until the road blurred into a gray smear of exhaustion and guilt. He told himself he was running from stress, from life, but deep down, he knew the truth. He was running from a night he could never erase, the night of the crash. The motel office smelled like old cigarettes and rainwater. Behind the counter sat a thin old man with yellowed eyes, watching a small black and white TV that only showed static. "Just one night," Daniel said, voice rough from hours on the road. The man nodded without looking up. "Room 9, end of the hall." As Daniel turned to leave, the manager added in a voice almost too soft to hear, "Don't mess with the TV." Daniel frowned but didn't ask. He just wanted a bed and silence. Room 9 was small and cold. The wallpaper peeled like dried skin. The only sound was the faint hum of the old television in the corner. He turned it on. Static. No channels, no color, just gray noise filling the space. It was almost comforting. He left it on low and lay down. The storm outside faded into white noise. Sleep crept in slowly. Then came the dream. He was back on the wet highway. Headlights blinding, tires skidding, hands gripping the wheel. The shadow appeared suddenly, a figure in the middle of the road. He remembered the scream, the crash, the sound of shattering glass. Then silence. He climbed out of the car in the dream, the rain washing blood off his hands. A woman lay motionless in the light of his broken headlights. He took one step toward her, whispering something he couldn't remember. Then, he stopped, looked around, and got back in the car. As the engine started, the woman's eyes opened, but her voice came not from her lips. It came from the static of a TV glowing faintly beside her. "Turn around," it said. Daniel woke up shaking. The TV in his motel room was still on, whispering softly. He reached for the remote and switched it off. "Just a dream," he muttered. "It wasn't my fault." Morning came, gray and quiet. He showered, drank bitter coffee from the lobby, and pretended everything was fine. The manager asked, "Sleep well?" "Yeah," Daniel lied. He got in his car and started driving again. But halfway down the winding road, the rain returned. Through the blur of the windshield, he saw it, a figure standing in the middle of the road. He slammed the brakes, tires screaming. When the car stopped, the road was empty. No one there. He sat in silence for a long time, shaking, then turned around and drove back to the motel. The same key waited for him. The same old man at the desk. The same warning look in his eyes. That night, Daniel tried to ignore the TV. He read an old magazine, stared out the window, watched lightning flicker in the distance. But the room was too quiet, too still. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her, the woman from the road, her pale face, her open eyes. He kept whispering to himself. She came out of nowhere. I couldn't stop. It wasn't my fault. He said it until it almost sounded true. But the TV disagreed. At 2:47 a.m., it turned on by itself. Daniel froze. The screen glowed gray, static buzzing softly. But beneath the hiss was something else. A voice. Faint, female, familiar. "You left me there." His heart pounded. He stepped closer. The static shimmered, forming the outline of a woman's face. Her hair was wet, her skin pale, her eyes fixed on him. "You didn't even check," she said. He shook his head, backing away. No, I called for help." The image flickered. Now the TV showed him standing in the rain beside a wrecked car, staring at her body, then slowly turning away. "No," he whispered, tears burning his eyes. "That's not how it happened." But the static deepened, and the screen changed again. This time, it showed him walking back to his car, starting the engine, and driving off while her hand twitched in the road. "Stop it," he screamed, grabbing a lamp and throwing it. The glass shattered, but the image remained, distorted and flickering, like it was burned into the air itself. Then he saw another figure in the reflection, himself. Only this version was calm, peaceful, smiling faintly. She forgave you, the reflection said. Why can't you? Daniel fell to his knees. The woman's voice returned, soft and almost kind. You could have helped me, she said. But you can still help yourself. Her hand reached out from the static. He hesitated, then reached back. When their fingers touched, the TV went dark. The hum stopped, and for the first time in 2 nights, the room was silent. The next morning, the manager knocked on the door. No answer. When he unlocked it, room 9 was empty. The bed was made. The TV was off. On the window glass, written faintly in the condensation, were 2 words. I'm sorry. The old man stood there for a moment, nodding slowly. Then you're free, he whispered. He turned the key tag over at his hand, room 9, and hung it back on the hook behind the counter. Then he flipped a sign outside from occupied to vacant. And for the first time in years, the static in room 9 was gone. Some say the Restwell Motel is still there. The sign still flickers through the fog. And if you ever stay in room 9 after midnight, you might hear the faint sound of static and a woman's voice whispering.